Gospel goodies.
Gospel goodies. Gospel goodies.
This is Gospel Goodies.
How you doing, man? How's everything?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Okay, so let me just get started with you. So, like, how did you even come about getting this role, or like coming about like just auditioning and getting it all out?
I was in Chicago. My agent, Chris Fiota, and Alyssa Bauer and WME was like, "Respect this. There's a script, Respect, for the Aretha Franklin biopic. You should read it for the role of CL or Ted." So they sent it to me, and I love Aretha Franklin. So I heard it was Jennifer Hudson and possibly Forrest Whitaker. And I was like, all right. And I was doing stand-up comedy in Chicago. And I remember I read the script, I read the character, I seen myself playing the role. And they said, okay, we're gonna set, I said, I love it. They said, we're gonna set you up with a Zoom or a Skype call with the director, Liesel. And I said, no. I said, I'm gonna fly myself from Chicago and go meet with that woman face to face, and we're gonna speak about this character. And that's what I did. And we just happened to have the same take on the character. The minute I walked inside the production office and I seen like pictures of what the set was gonna look like, and I saw the costumes, and I saw the lighting boards and what they were planning on doing. And I was just like, the texture of the fabrics they were using, and I was just like, yo, pictures of the locations. I'm walking through Liesel Tommy's mind and vision for this movie. And by the time I sat down in her office to talk to her and Tracy, they had me at before hello.
Amazing.
I was like, I gotta do this.
Yeah, and interested enough, like, you clearly have been making me laugh for years, and the minute I came in here, you had me laughing. But this role is far from like your usual comedic, just safe space. Right. So like for you, was this like a hard transition, or like what was it like kind of taking on a more serious role?
It's not that the hardest thing for me when I do serious roles is not cracking jokes. Shutting that valve off. I have a valve that I fuel with gasoline, gallons of it every moment. I'm just like, yeah, but I just had to shut it off, let it dry out, not even use that side of my brain. And once I get to focus on the emotions, I as a comedian, you forget how much pain you have to pull from, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're so used to not dealing with your emotions. As comedians, something hurtful comes in, we don't let it stick on us. We go, oh, you know what's funny about that? You know what's funny about the worst thing that ever happened to me? This. But what happens is you take the real feeling of that emotion, you throw it away somewhere inside your chest. When you do a drama, Liesel kept tapping into that little safe in my chest and pulling out. She'd open that door and go, I need this emotion let out. And she would release the beast. And there was times she would call cut, and I'm still crying because I got to deal with things that I normally don't deal with. So, but it wasn't that it was a hard transition. I know how to act. I went to Performing Arts High School, some of the best training you could ever get. Went to Howard University for 2 years and continued, on my acting. I've been acting since I was in the 5th grade, doing the second grade when I played Peter Pan. Like, I know I've been acting for so long, you know what I mean? So to be able to just focus and just be, that was fun.
That's amazing. So you kind of answered this question a little bit earlier, but how familiar were you with Aretha Franklin's music, like before actually, taking on this role?
I mean, if you grew up in an African-American household with 5 sisters and an African-American mom, let me tell you something. You don't know you Aretha Franklin. I knew everything from Respect to everything on the Sparkle soundtrack. Mm-hmm. So, and my baby sister played Jump, Jump, Jump to it. So every sister had a song. And so I was singing those songs before I could even walk.
Interesting. All right, so on a more like serious note, you play an abusive character in this role.
Yeah.
And for you, what was it like, I guess, channeling that kind of energy? And like you said, like how is it to like shift out of that once the director says cut, or once the filming wraps? Like how do you get rid of some of those like feelings that you bottled up like by
I don't carry my characters with me forever. Right?
That's a good point.
I've learned to let them go. I've learned that, thankfully I don't think there's going to be a Respect sequel, or they're going to do the Ted White story next. You know what I mean? It's like, so I get to live this character. Even on set, when they say cut, I'm Marlon again. I wipe my tears, whatever. Marlon's back. Let's crack some jokes. Let's have some fun. I played 7 people in a movie. You know how crazy I would be if I brought all 7 of them people
I can imagine.
I played a white chick. You know how crazy I look if I was still talking in white chick's voice? So for me, I do it, I let it go. You have to let it go. But to play a damaged character like Ted, I think abuse is, I try to give him texture. I try to give him vulnerability, not just to come across as a monster, but actually to come across damaged, for the audience to have some empathy. I want the audience to want me and for Ted and Aretha to win. And he's just too insecure, he's too damaged, and he's too jealous, and that brings him down. But I wanted them to see him vulnerable. I wanted to see their love be so pure that it's hard, that you want them to win, and you're sad when they break up. And I think because that's how hard it was for her, for a woman to leave an abusive man, we as the audience have to have more empathy and understand when you go, you should just leave him, girl. It ain't that easy. It's not that easy. So, change your approach with them.
100%. And something that, like, speaking about Jennifer Hudson's role as Aretha, like for you, what was that like? What was it like watching her and kind of like seeing her take on this role?
Let me tell you, this girl was so good. Like, she would be singing live, take after take after take. There was days I would come to set, I wasn't even working. I was just like, yo, where you going? You going to set? Nah, Jennifer Hudson performing today. Some Aretha Franklin. I'm gonna be there, front row, and it was just magical to watch. And it was like watching Broadway or, something that you can only see or hear about come to life, like in front of your eyes. Like, this was a moment to just watch somebody do something great. And sometimes Jennifer would look at me and she'd be like, what you doing? And I'd be like, just watching you win a few Oscars, that's all.
I hear that. All right, I had a few more questions, but I'll just wrap it up. I think I'll have like 2 more minutes left. What is the biggest thing that you want people to take from this role, whether it's the message or the music, like in your own words?
I hope they take from this movie that empowerment is something that we choose to do. Power is something you give somebody. Empowering yourself is something that you take from the people you gifted that to, and you own your own power to make your own decisions, to do it your way, and that it's okay to fail, because as long as you empower yourself, one day you will be successful and have the potential to be an icon like Aretha. You can be legendary too. Empower yourself.
That's all I got. Thank you so much, Marlon. Hoping to one day see you in person so we can laugh in person. So.
Yeah, it's cool too.
All right, man.
All right, brother. Take it easy.